We are going to do some basic rigging, very basic. It gets really complicated, but we're just going to do a little bit. We're going to rig a character. Our character is this little truck. And so to rig, we have to add a bone structure, and that way we can make it move, animate it. We're just going to rig the front tires so that they turn. When it moves, they will turn. So the first thing we need to do is, well, we've got this, so your starter file looks like this, and if I move the truck, it moves off of the wheels, and so nothing is connected. So we first need to connect the wheels to the truck, and we're only going to connect the back wheels for now, because the front wheels we're going to rig. We won't rig the back wheels because they don't turn. So let's connect them. If you right click on one of the tires, and we are going to make this truck the parent of that. So this will be the child of the truck. So wherever the truck moves, the wheel will go with it. So if I come over here to my tabs and click on the box, right down here, parent, I'm going to click on it and select truck. And nothing should move. If it moves, that's a problem and we gotta fix it. So nothing should move. And now if I move the truck, that tire goes with it. None of the others do. So I can undo that, Control Z. I'm going to go over to the other side and do the same. Grab the other tire and make the parent the truck. So now, if I move it, the back wheels move with the truck, the front wheels stay. That's what I want. Control Z to undo that. Okay, now the bones. To rig it and add a bone, first I need this 3D cursor to the center of the truck. So if it's out here somewhere, this 3D cursor, you need to put it back. So if you come down here to Object and Snap, I'm going to snap the cursor to Selected. As long as the truck is selected, then it goes right there. That's because I'm going to add the bone right there. So first thing, I'm going to go into Quad View, so Control-Alt-Q. And this is good for rigging because the bones, we want them to go in exact direction. So anyway, come over here, you can zoom in to whichever one, but on this bottom right one, if you add a bone, so come down here to add, we're going to add an armature, a single bone, and it's going to put it right there where the cursor is. And can't really see it too well, so I'm going to come up here to the armature tab and click X-ray, and that way I'll be able to see through any object to that bone. I'm going to scale it a little bit bigger because it's pretty small, so S to scale, about that big, and I'm going to rotate it so it's laying on its side. So I'm going to rotate a -90. R, -90, enter. And then it's laying on its side. So that's what we want. Now I'm going to, so the truck now moves and that bone does not move with it. And we want it, so we want to make that the parent. The truck the parent of the bone as well, the child of the truck. So I'm going to do the same thing. Go to the box, parent, truck. Okay, so this one moved. If it moves, let's undo it, and we're going to do it a different way. Why this works or doesn't work, I don't know, but this little trick works. So click on the bone first, and then hold down Shift and click on the truck, so they're both selected. Make sure the bone is selected first, then the truck, and then do a Control P. That's setting the parent, and we're going to set the parent to the object, which is the bone, and then it doesn't move around. So I don't know why it moves, but now if you click on the bone or select the bone, the parent is the truck and it didn't move, it stayed in the spot. So that works if things are going to move around. Okay, now that it's the parent, it will move with the truck and the back wheels. Okay, next thing we need to do, click on the bone, we're going to go into edit mode. So tab to edit mode, and we can select a couple different things. We can select these front and back that little round ball. We're going to select the front one. I'm going to come up here to this view, and first up here on the tab under Tools, Options, I'm going to click the X-axis mirror, and it's going to mirror because I want 2 to come out. And so in order to do that, I need to extrude, but I'm going to hold down Shift. So hold down Shift and extrude, or E, Shift and E, and pull it out to the right side. And then we want to constrain it so it mirrors it, as long as that X-axis mirror is selected. And it can, we want to constrain it to the X-axis, so click X and bring it out about this far. Now click on the one on the right, and it's actually the left one, because when you're in the car it's on your left side, so that's correct. Select one of them and we are going to separate it. So come down to armature and I don't know where it is. Let's do the shortcut. Alt P to separate. We're going to disconnect it. So Alt P, as long as you have that one selected, disconnect bone, and then it just has that separate. So if I hit G now, I can move it wherever I want. So I'm going to put it out here somewhere. I actually want to connect it directly to the tire, and I want it to connect right to the middle of the tire. So hit Tab out to object mode and select the tire. The origin of that object is right in the middle, and I want to get this cursor right there. So if you go to object and snap, we want the cursor to go to the selected, and it's going to be right in the middle of the tire. That way, now we can move this bone to where the cursor is. So it's kind of a couple different steps, but that's a good way to get things exactly where you want it, right in the middle of an object. So click back on the bone structure, tab into edit mode, and make sure that one's selected. Let's see, just click it again to select it. And then we are going to snap it to the cursor. So do a shift, I don't know where it is on the menu again, shift S, and we're going to do the selection to the cursor. Let's see, selection to cursor right here, not the offset one. Selection to cursor, and it sticks it right on the cursor, right in the middle of the tire. Now we are going to go into pose mode. So come down here on edit mode and click pose mode. And now that we're in pose mode, let's go up to the object, let's see, bone constraint tab. We're going to add a bone constraint. So click on it. We're going to choose this inverse kinematics, and there are the inverse kinematics means that we are going to select something, move it, and something else move. So we're going to select let's see, move the bone, and the tire will move with it. There's also forward kinematics, which is just select something and move it, and it moves. Inverse kinematics is selecting something, something else moves. So that's the difference there. So a lot of the bone structure is a lot of inverse kinematics. We're going to add an inverse kinematics constraint, and all we need to do in this constraint is to change the chain length to 1, because we're kind of one length away from the main bone. So that way there's no other constraints. Okay, let's go to the bone tab now. And we're going to constrain this bone to only move a certain direction, because we don't want the tire to rotate all over the place. We only want it to rotate left and right a little bit. And so it's on the x-axis. So let's lock the y-axis and the z-axis so it does not move on those axes. And on the x-axis, we want it to limit it. We want to limit it to only. We don't want it to go all the way around in a circle, 360. We want to go left -50 degrees and the other way 50 degrees. So it's only 100 degrees total movement, and so that's what this little red thing is. It's the constraint. So now if I test that, if I come up here and hit G, that's a free move, and it's constrained to only move on that axis, only that much. So that's how that's all that we want the tire to move. Okay, so do a Control Z to make it go back to where it was. Now that we've got that set up, that constraint to that bone, we want to copy that to the other one. So let's do that. If you right click on the other one and go back to the bone constraint tab, we've already set up inverse kinematics for this one. We're just going to copy it. So let's do this copy rotation constraint, and the target is an armature. So select armature there. The bone is the left bone because it's this one right here, and we're copying that one, so it points in that same direction. And then if I select this one again, hit G, it rotates the exact same as that one. So when we connect the tires in a second, the tires will rotate both together, is what we want. Do a Control Z, get it back to where it was. Now we just need to connect the tires. So let's select the tire first this time, and hold down Shift and select that bone next to it, and do a Control P, and we're going to come down here to bone, set the parent to the bone. And let's do the same over here. Tire first, hold down Shift and select the bone, Control P, set parent to bone. And if that worked, this should work. Oh boy. Something's not quite right with that constraint there. What happened? Okay, there we go. I had them both selected and I was moving both of them. So as long as I just select this one out here that's sticking out, the other one's underneath the car, then it does it, the free move, because this one is copying the other one. So there it is. The tires can move freely, not freely, the tires can move back and forth so that we can animate it to move when the car moves. So if I go out of the view here, then I can animate it how I want with those tires moving as I drive the car around.